Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of me reading from the Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. I have again randomly picked a monster, or rather I have randomly flicked open a page and I landed on a creature called Magmin. I have no idea what I'm about to be reading, so let's get right into it. A grinning, mischievous Magmin resembles a stumpy humanoid sculpted from a black shell of magma. Even when it isn't ablaze and radiating heat like a bonfire, small jets of flame erupt from its porous skin. Magmins are fire elemental spirits bound into physical forms by magic, and they appear in the material plane only when summoned. They view flammable objects as kindling for a grand conflagration, and only the magical control exerted by the summoners keeps them from setting everything they touch ablaze. Their propensity for fire and havoc makes them ideal for spreading chaos and destruction. A mob of Magmins summoned inside a castle can reduce it to a burning shell within minutes. Although its flame is potent, the Magmin's hard magma shell prevents it from instantly igniting everything it comes into contact with. However, like the fires inside them, Magmins are capricious and unpredictable. Moreover, as simple elemental creations, they are oblivious to the harm their native element causes creatures of the material plane. If it has the opportunity while in service to its master, a Magmin seeks out areas of great heat, such as forest fires or the bubbling magma of an active volcano. At other times, a Magmin compulsively loses fire from its fingertips, delighting in setting objects ablaze. Let's have a look at its stat block. It's a small elemental with a chaotic neutral alignment. It has a natural armor class of 14 and 9 or 2d6 plus 2 hit points. Its speed is 30 feet. It has a strength of 7 with a modifier of -2, dexterity at 15 with a modifier of +2, 12 points in constitution and a modifier of +1, 8 points in intelligence and a modifier of -2, 11 points in wisdom with a modifier of 0, and 10 points in charisma also with a modifier of 0. Its damage resistances are bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. It is immune to fire damage, obviously. It has dark vision that ranges 60 feet and a passive perception of 10. It speaks and understands Ignan. It has a challenge rating of a half, and you get 100 XP for defeating it. Death Burst. When the Magmin dies, it explodes in a burst of fire and magma. Each creature within 10 feet of it must make a DC 11 dexterity roll, taking 7 or 2d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried in that area are ignited. Ignited Illumination. As a bonus action, the Magmin can set itself ablaze or extinguish its flames. While ablaze, the Magmin sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. Actions: touch, melee weapon attack, +4 to hit, reach 5 feet, one target only. Hit 7 or 2d6 fire damage. If the target is a creature or a flammable object, it ignites. Until a creature takes an action to douse the fire, the creature takes 3 or 1d6 fire damage at the end of each of its turns. That was interesting. The Magmin kind of reminds me of the fire atronachs in the Elder Scrolls games. They explode when they die too. The next creature in the book is the Manticore. A monster in every sense of the word. A manticore has a vaguely humanoid head, the body of a lion, and the wings of a dragon. A bristling mane stretches down the creature's back, and its long tail ends in a cluster of deadly spikes that can impale prey at impressive range. Manticores are fierce killers that hunt far and wide for prey. They work together to take down particularly large or dangerous creatures, sharing the meal once a kill is made. A manticore begins its attack with a volley of tail spikes, then lands and uses its claws and bite. When outdoors and outnumbered, it uses its wings to stay aloft, attacking from a distance until its spikes are depleted. A manticore isn't particularly bright, but it possesses a malevolent nature and the ability to converse. In the course of attacking, it denigrates its foes and offers to kill them swiftly if they beg for their lives. If a manticore sees an advantage to be gained by sparing a creature's life, it does so, asking for a tribute or sacrifice equal to its loss of food. Manticores serve wicked masters that treat them well and provide regular prey. A manticore might provide aerial support for an orc horde or a hobgoblin army. Another could serve as a hunting companion for a hill giant chief, or guard the entrance to a Lamia's lair. The manticore's greatest territorial rivals include chimeras, griffins, peritons, and wyverns. Manticores, hunting as a pack, often have the advantage of greater numbers. In addition to these creatures, manticores fear dragons and avoid them. Now, let's take a look at its stat block. A manticore is a large monstrosity with a lawful evil alignment. Its natural armor class is 14 and it has 68 or 8d10 plus 24 hit points. Its walking speed is 30 feet. Its flying speed is 50 feet. It has 17 points in strength with a modifier of +3. Its dexterity is 16 with a modifier of +3. Its constitution is 17, also with a modifier of +3. Its intelligence, however, is a 7 with a modifier of -2. It has 12 points in wisdom with a modifier of +1. And only 8 points in charisma with a modifier of -1. It has 60 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 11. It speaks and understands common. It has a challenge rating of 3, and you would gain 700 XP from defeating it. Tail Spike Regrowth. The Manticore has 24 tail spikes. Used spikes regrow when the Manticore finishes a long rest, so you better keep counting these spikes firing at you. Actions. Multi-attack. One of my favorite features. The Manticore makes 3 attacks, 1 with its bite, and 2 with its claws, or 3 with its tail spikes. Bite, melee weapon attack, +5 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target only. Hit, 7 or 1d8 +3 piercing damage. Claw, melee weapon attack, +5 to hit, with a reach of 5 feet, 1 target only. Hit, 6 or 1d6 +3 slashing damage. Tail spike, ranged weapon attack, +5 to hit, range 100 to 200 feet, 1 target only. Hit, 7 or 1d8 +3 piercing damage. I think we have time for one more creature, and the next one is a good one. It is the Medusa. As deadly as they are ravishing, the serpent-haired Medusas suffer an immortal curse brought on by their vanity. They lurk in quiet exile among the tumbled ruins of their former lives, surrounded by the petrified remains of past admirers and would-be heroes. Men and women who desire eternal youth, beauty, and adoration might pray to malicious gods, beg dragons for ancient magic, or seek out powerful archmages to fulfill their wishes. Others make sacrifices to demon lords or archdevils, offering all in exchange for this gift, oblivious to the curse that accompanies it. Those who strike such bargains gain physical beauty, restored youth, immortality, and the adoration of all who behold them, granting them the influence and power they so desire. However, after years of the living like a demigod among mortals, the price for their vanity and hubris is exacted, and they are forever transformed into Medusas. A Medusa's hair turns into a nest of venomous serpents, and all who gaze upon the Medusa are petrified, becoming stone monuments to its corruption. Medusas live forever in seclusion, alienated from the world around them by their monstrous form and caprice. Their homes gradually fall into disrepair until they are little more than shadowy ruins, covered with thorns and creepers, riddled with obstructions and hiding places. Foolhardy looters and adventurers who enter are often unaware of the Medusa's presence, until the creature is among them. A Medusa is subject to its own curse. By looking vainly on its reflection, it turns to stone as surely as any living mortal. As a result, a Medusa destroys or removes any mirrors or reflector surfaces in its lair. Now, this version of a Medusa is quite different from its namesake from Greek mythology. But I'm not going to go into that. Instead, we will be moving on to the Medusa stat block. It's a medium monstrosity with a lawful evil alignment. Its armor class is 15 and it's made of natural armor. It has 127 or 17d8 plus 51 hit points, and it has a walking speed of 30 feet. It has 10 points in strength with a modifier of +0. It has 15 points in dexterity with a modifier of +2. Its constitution is a 16 with a modifier of +3. It has 12 points in intelligence with a modifier of +1, 13 points in wisdom with a modifier of also +1, and 15 points in charisma with a modifier of +2. It has several skills. It has +5 in deception, +4 in insight, +4 in perception, and +5 in stealth. It has 60 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 14. It speaks and understands common. The Medusa has a challenge rating of 6. You would gain 2300 XP if you manage to defeat it. Petrifying gaze. When a creature that can see the Medusa's eyes starts its turn within 30 feet of the Medusa can force it to make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw if the Medusa isn't incapacitated and can see the creature. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the creature is instantly petrified. Otherwise, a creature that fails the save begins to turn to stone and is restrained. The restrained creature must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn, becoming petrified on a failure or ending the effect on a success. The petrification lasts until the creature is freed by the Greater Restoration spell or other magic. Unless surprised, a creature can avert its eyes to avoid the saving throw at the start of its turn. If the creature does so, it can't see the Medusa until the start of its next turn, when it can avert its eyes again. If the creature looks at the Medusa in the meantime, it must immediately make the save. If the Medusa sees itself reflected on a polished surface within 30 feet of it, and in an area of bright light, the Medusa is, due to its curse, affected by its own gaze. Whoa, that sounds complicated. Moving on to its actions. Multi-attack. The Medusa makes either 3 melee attacks, 1 with its snake hair and 2 with its short sword, or 2 ranged attacks with its longbow. Snake hair. Melee weapon attack, +5 to hit. Reach of 5 feet, 1 creature only. Hit 4 or 1d4 plus 2 piercing damage, plus 14 or 4d6 poison damage. Short sword, melee weapon attack, +5 to hit, with a reach of 5 feet, 1 target only. On a hit, it causes 5 or 1d6 plus 2 piercing damage. Longbow, ranged weapon attack, +5 to hit. Range 150 to 600 feet, 1 target only. Hit 6 or 1d8 plus 2 piercing damage, plus 7 or 1d6 poison damage. So much for today. That was rather interesting and a rather short video. I nonetheless hope you enjoyed it, learned something new, and found this relaxing. Thank you very much for spending your time with me, and see you again soon. Bye bye, fellow nerds.